Hello everybody, what we're going to do today is we're going to be playing games with our Gamesir G4 Pro controller for both Android and PC and iOS and Nintendo Switch, I hear. I don't care. So we're going to go ahead and first step is get our Galaxy S9 here in the little clippy clip. Actually, step one, we're going to put this clippy clip onto our Gamesir G4 Pro. We're going to do that by sliding it right over the top. Make sure the little padded part is facing up, because if that is in place properly, it'll hold our phone in much better than it would otherwise. It'll still hold our phone in without it, but this way, definitely not going to. Of course, what we want to do is sync our device to our phone. Make sure our controller is on, and we're holding down the A button, and there we go. We're going to start off with a Nintendo emulator. I don't know where I'm at. I'm somewhere. Oops. You know what? This is not working out. I'm just going to load and to refill my life bar so that I don't die. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. There we go. Let's get out of there. I don't entirely know where I'm going, but let's go ahead and do some input lag tests here. We'll see how well that works compared to some other emulators here. But I absolutely just love playing NES games with this controller because I have it set up so that my left stick here saves. And then the right stick loads. Yeah, buddy. Ah, dang it. So that when I get hit, because I'm an idiot, I can just load. I said in the previous video that I was not a big fan of this style of D-pad with the circular apparatus around it, and I stand by that. You're just hurt, go away. I can fast forward with this button, so I can die extra fast. Okay, let's just get out of here, come on. I'm going too fast. And as you can see, like, the emulation itself is like perfect. Sound effects, everything. I love it. This is a fantastic experience on Android. Hey, let's get out of here and play some Super Nintendo games now. I don't have everything configured yet, so this is a good opportunity to show you guys just how to do it. So from this menu, we have key and gamepad input setup. And then we have to scroll all the way down to our device, our Gamesir G4 Pro. We can set our in-game action keys. Let's go ahead and save state to the left, bind load state to the right button, or the right, whatever that is, L3 and R3. Fast forward, we can map that to this guy right here, this little doohickey. And then that will allow us to fast forward and save state and load state. All right. So here we are in Donkey Kong Country, and I'm still trying to play off of the screen itself. But this is so much better than playing with a touchscreen. Now, there are quite a few, and I will admit there are quite a few Super Nintendo games that are playable with a touchscreen. Like, I enjoy playing Soul Blazer with a touchscreen. Not that I enjoy playing Soul Blazer with a touchscreen, but Soul Blazer is enjoyable enough when I'm playing it with a touchscreen. But everything is so much better with a controller. So let's go ahead and do an input lag test on Snes9x EX Plus while we're here. As you can see, there is definitely a noticeable amount of input lag, but it is not enough to deter you from using a controller. It is a manageable amount of input lag, I'll say that much. And I needed Donkey Kong right there for that again. Oh crap, okay, no, let's just load. Yay, and I'm right back to where I was when I saved it originally. Let's make sure we can get that. Oh, and I got an extra package of bananas while I was at it. Yay! Let's go ahead and move on to some Nintendo 64 emulation now. It's not as convenient as our Super Nintendo stuff because we can't save and load slots at the push of a button like we can with our Super Nintendo emulator. And I'm playing Diddy Kong Racing right now, of course, naturally, because what else would you play with an N64 emulator? If you play Perfect Dark, you're an idiot. Let's see. So we have to save and load through the menu with Mupen, which is yeah, it's more button presses, but you know what? It's not all that bad. So let's go ahead and just load slot. And the controls are, oops, it's on the D-pad. The controls are confusing. No, actually, the controls are very, very clear and clever and awesome and all kinds of good and wonderful. Z, I use this one right here. All of the C buttons on the N64 controller are the right analog stick, which isn't, you know, it's not the best, it's not the greatest. But there are no like 6-button controllers for PC out there that are any good and worth their salt. So you know what? You work with what you got. That's what you do. You just work with what you got. And Diddy Kong Racing in itself runs great. I love it. I'm doing a trophy race right now because I'm just that far into the game and that awesome. And yeah, it's just amazing. I love it. This is super fun. As far as input lag is concerned, however, overall, not half bad. And this game also just plays super well. With the whole using the left trigger for Z, it just works. I love it. This is a good test to see if it'll function just as it does on the N64. Because I've muscle memoried this level so hard. Come on. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Whoa, that was close. I do that every time, so that's fine. Oh, nuts. That was not the fault of the controller. That was me. There we go. Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, as you can see, it's not half bad. There we go. Oh, are you kidding me? This is nuts. Come on, Mario, be a pal. There we go. I love how coins restore Mario's health in this game. Just goes to show you how like greedy he is. Like, oh, I got some money. I'm gonna get my health back. Suddenly I feel so alive. Now what am I doing? Oh, dying. Excellent. And I have 1 life left. So I'm going to go ahead and load slot. Because I'm a cheater. I'm a cheating son of a... Hey, let's move on to a PlayStation emulator now. Oh, PlayStation. Okay, saucy. I use ePSXe, still using ePSXe. It's way better than FPSE because reasons. No, go to GUI. Now, there is a way to configure the analog sticks in ePSXe that's confusing a lot of people out there on the internet, and I just thought I'd clear that up right quick. So we're going to go into preferences right fast. So we want to configure player 1 and then pad type DualShock. That's good because we're going to play Super Monkey Ball. No, ePSXe. That's what it's called. Super Monkey Ball's Nintendo. Or Super Monkey Ball is Sega on everything, but we want to play ePSXe, and ePSXe requires a DualShock controller. So not everyone is able to get it to run on ePSXe because they don't know how to properly map their buttons. Now, there is a very important thing that you need to pay attention to when you're mapping your axes, and it is this: gamepad test axis. Because when you map your axes to your left for your left stick and your right stick, the labels may not be super obvious. Like here, we can see that axis left stick is axis X and Y. That's obvious. But axis right stick X and Y is axis Z and axis RZ, which is like totally, like how the hell are you supposed to know what it's called? Because there are axes here that are X, Y, and of course my first guess would be axis RX and axis RY. Like, that sounds pretty logical, but it's not what it is. And here's how you figure it out. So you have to go into your gamepad test axis. So this is where, and every time you press a new axis, it's going to populate in this list here. So here we have our right stick's axis. So there's X and then there's Y. Let me see if I can just... So X and Y are now being manipulated. So now we're going to move our right stick, and that's going to populate all of our axes, and then obviously the ones that are moving and the values are being generated and manipulated when we move our right stick. Those are the names of the values that we're going to use for our right axis. So axis Z and axis RZ. Axis Z for right stick X, and then axis RZ for right stick Y. So that is how you know what to label your axes or as or whatever. Okay, so now we can go into ePSXe. Okay, let's go to the next level. Oh, actually, we don't need to go to the next level because we're just wandering around here. And then, of course, right stick works great. And accurately, might I add. So yeah, ePSXe, totally playable on ePSXe. Okay, now we're off to play some Need for Speed High Stakes using ePSXe. And we're in DualShock mode. You can play Need for Speed High Stakes in either DualShock mode or with the D-pad. I would recommend personally you use the D-pad because the input lag is real. It doesn't make it unplayable. But, yeah, it does get in your way a little bit. Now, I do kind of like playing with the analog stick. I mean, it's fine. And making minute corrections to your inputs is, it's not, you know, it's pretty good. I like it. But that input lag, yeah, it's legit. And, of course, the load, save, and fast forward buttons are all right next to each other, which is kind of annoying. And it's really easy to press the wrong one, but of course, you know, you can just change where you put them in the settings. And then we're going to go into input preferences. And now we're going to configure our screen buttons. So gamepad skin editor landscape, there's a few of these. There's gamepad skin editor landscape down here, but we only need to worry about the first one here. Now, if you take a look at it, this is not at all what the gamepad just looked like. In fact, what we had here was we had an analog controller pad thing. So now the reason why it doesn't look like what we just had, because all of our buttons are like kind of around here. So we have our load 1 is right up here, and then save 1 is right here, and fast forward button is right up there. But it was all grouped together when we were just in gameplay, and that is because we have to first click or tap or whatever, swap mode. Do you want to exit and save the pad config? Yeah, no, no, cancel. Just swap the damn mode. Do you want to save and swap editor mode? Sure, save and swap editor mode. And hey, that looks like where our buttons were. So everything else is kind of hidden. I don't know how well you can see it in the video. In fact, you probably can't, but everything has a red X through it, like those buttons right there. Red X through there, red X, red X, red X, red X, and I'm sick and tired of saying red X. But that means that those are now hidden, so that is why it looks the way that it does when we're playing our game. And also, if you guys have noticed, I disabled all kinds of cool graphical enhancements for my PlayStation emulator. That's because no matter how well you write the darn thing, you will always run into a game or two that produces artifacts, or renders, I should say, artifacts, like little polygons that show up black or textures that don't load in properly. And every time I use one of those prolific, high-end, super cool resolution, like OpenGL plugins, there's always some sort of small graphical glitch that rears its ugly head, and I absolutely just hate having those. Oops. I absolutely just hate seeing that. I just can't stand it. It's one of my greatest pet peeves is little graphical glitches like those. Like I said, polygons that don't load textures and appear black, or little cursor items on your menus, like the little hands in Final Fantasy VII that have little artifacts around them, and it's all just, I don't know, I can't stand it. So whenever I play my PlayStation emulator, and that is true off of this video and away from this video, I always use just the original graphics because it's guaranteed to be the best experience possible. Anyway, so this has been playing all kinds of emulated games on Android using the Gamesir G4 Pro controller. Overall, just great. Excellent experience. I love it. There's absolutely no reason why you should not have one of these controllers if you play any kind of game on your Android device, let alone emulators. Emulation is just a fantastic experience for this, and I need to save a little bit after the starting line in this game. But yeah, once again, love it, love it, love it. Can't do without it. If I'm ever going to buy any other controller in the future, I'm going to make sure it's another Gamesir G4 Pro, because it's just that good for anything. For PC, for Android, anything. I'm going to get another one of these controllers if I ever need a play or two. Hey, thanks again for watching, and you guys have a good night.